All right, welcome back, everybody, to another coach's interview here. And today we have the elusive, the man who never wears a shirt in the paddock, David Deeter. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
All right, man. Hanging out, doing the thing. We were kind of talking before starting this. You got a new motorcycle. Are you gonna still race the 400?
Yeah. People are asking me like, what is my plan with the 400? And I'm relatively new to this whole motorcycle thing, which we'll get into later. But I have heard plenty of stories around the paddock of, man, I wish I didn't sell that bike. Everyone's got one, right? That they wish they didn't sell, and that
Yeah.
was my first bike. So I've won, my first race on that. I won my first championship on that. Like first, bumps in track days. And I have so much emotional attachment to it that if I sold it and I saw it in the paddock, it would be like seeing my ex girlfriend when I still was like in love with her. It was like a new dude. It would
Yeah.
just hurt. So I think as we start riding the new one, then that will slowly like taper off. I'll be like, all right, like I'm just not riding it as much, but
I'll tell you,
there's lots you
dude,
can do with those
you're gonna have
400.
to. I don't know. Some people can do it. I can't. I think I talked to you already about this before. Like the season, you get on a faster bike, your everything has to change, and when you go back
Mhm.
and forth, it's so hard to like get good on like your new one, your 675 you got. It's so much harder to get good on that and comfortable when you're switching back and forth. But like that's why you're so good on your 400 is because you ride it all the time.
Yeah.
It's one of those
Yeah. I
things.
might keep it for endurance racing
Or coaching
and
or
maybe like
something.
coach a novice group. Yeah. More upright ergos. Do you want to hear the story of how I got this bike? It's pretty crazy.
Yes.
So I've been looking for a faster bike for a minute. And, that's like half the fun in the off season, right? It's like looking on Marketplace and like hypothetically buying motorcycles like in your mind. Like, oh, if I got that, like what color would I paint it? Like if I painted it this color, like what leathers would look cool? And you don't buy any of it. It's just fun to
Right.
daydream, right? So I'm always kind of looking, and I saw this Daytona 675 for sale. It was like a smoking deal. Like the first 8 comments were like, that's a crazy price. So what it was a street bike that was in basically track. It was track ready. Like it was safety wired. The 675R's already got like Olin's front and back, Brembo. And the guy bought a new bike. He had bought a Gixxer 750, was taking the Daytona out for kind of like a final hurrah, like crashed, just didn't feel like fixing it, and was posting it in. I saw it on Facebook, but it wasn't like marketplace, or like any of the racing ones. It was just in like a Triumph forum. So it's not getting like the views that a normal bike would get.
Yeah.
And I sent it to my buddy Craig Swanwick, who's really helped me with this whole thing, and we'll get into that later as well. But I asked him like, "Hey, what do you think? I need like an expert kind of opinion. Like, I think this is a good deal, but like, what might I be missing?" And he texted me back like, "Buy it." I'm like, "Well, the only caveat is it's in Wisconsin." And he goes, "Where in Wisconsin?" And I sent him where in Wisconsin. He was in Wisconsin for a wedding that weekend. He was there, right, and this place was 10 minutes away from where he
Gee,
was
that's
at this wedding.
wild, dude.
So I was like, "Dude, this is like fate. Like, I gotta get this." So I know this thing's going to go and it's going to go fast. I'm figuring out all these details Friday at 2 p.m. and the banks close like Friday at 5. So I'm trying to move money around, get a wire set up, like go to the bank, just buying this bike like completely sight unseen. Um, and yeah, it ended up all working out, and Craig picked the bike up and brought it back. And yeah, it needed a clip on, which I was going to take the OEM clip ons off anyways, and it needed a replacement rear set peg, and it had driven rear sets already. So rear set peg for like $30,
That's crazy,
and yeah,
dude.
now I got to buy race body work, but these damn tariffs are fucking everything up.
Yep, I
Like
agree,
shipping
man.
is like $350.
Yeah, I looked at bodywork that I bought for the 660 when I bought uh, bodywork, like when I first got the bike or whatever. It was like the only ones available, but it's forget the brand now, Sebimoto, and a guy I know, he just got a 660. He was looking for stuff, and he goes, I can't find shipping to America. I'm like, well, you must be doing something wrong. So I go on there, and I'm like, didn't find it. We end up emailing them, and they were like, yeah, because it just costs so much. Like the bodywork's like $650. I remember when I bought it, it was like $600. It was cheaper when I got it in 21 or whatever, or 21 or 22. But yeah, it was like under $600 shipped to my door from wherever it was. And
I think they're from the Czech Republic because I got
yep,
Sebimoto.
exactly. Yep,
Ninja.
and it's good
I didn't
stuff.
put the set on, but yeah, I got it on Black Friday for maybe like $350.
Oh, that's
plus
dirt cheap.
Maybe
yeah.
like $80-$90 shipping.
Now it's like $450 to ship.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Like Sebimoto, the same company, was $350.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, I switched the country to Canada, $90.
Exactly. Yeah, if you know somebody in Canada, you can make it happen. But
yeah, do I know anyone in Canada? I might just drive up there.
Yeah. All right, man. So, main question, first question I always ask is, how'd you get into riding motorcycles? So you said it's been a pretty short journey right now. Did you ride bikes on the street before, or how'd you get into riding motorcycles in general?
No, so my dad raced sport bikes when I was really, really little, like mostly before I was born. And then maybe until I was like 5. I remember going to one of his races. I learned after the fact that it was at Grattan, and he crashed, tank slapper. And I remember just crying, like thinking he was like dead, like not understanding motorcycle crashing. And I think my mom said to him something along the lines of like, how long are you going to keep doing this shit? So he was done. But I remember being in the garage with, like big, like Joe Camel, like Smoking Joe Camel, like signs from the track that he had grabbed and put in the garage, and Marlboro Racing. And
they got when cigarette ads went out, man, that's when racing went downhill, I think.
Yeah. People ask me like, hey, who's your favorite cartoon character? It's like Joe Camel, like hands down. It's like the coolest dude.
For sure. Played pool, got all the women.
Yeah, he was like racing motorcycles, like racing freaking dirt bikes. Yeah, playing pool. But so yeah, I remember like being in the garage, like vroom, vroom, and like thinking that was so cool. And then watching it on TV, the bright colors, like the leathers, the cool helmets. I just always liked it as a little kid. Growing up, we had like dirt bikes and then 4-wheelers, ATVs, and that kind of tapered off probably when I was like 15 or 16. I've played hockey my whole life, so hockey was like really taking off, and we sold those, and that was kind of it. And I always wanted a sport bike. Like in the back of my mind, it was, all right, when I get to be like 18, 21 or around there, get like a little money, like I'm going to have one. Well, I'm 39. So if you go back to when I would be around 18 to 21, like, what else was becoming really big at that time? Like YouTube. So I'm on YouTube and I'm seeing rider footage where, someone turns left in front of them in an intersection and there's like nothing you can do. And I remember thinking like, oh, like that like hadn't occurred to me that could happen. Like I just thought I would take myself out, which I don't want to do, but like I could live with that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like crushed that dream. Like I was just done with it. Because I had the conception that you had to get like really good on the street. And then once you're like one of the top street guys, then you go to the track. And then if you like a badass track guy, then you can race. I thought that was like the order of progression. So it was out of sight, out of mind until honestly about 2022. I think I was like 35, 36 years old. And then an article like randomly popped up, maybe on like Facebook or something like that, talking about this, this small bike revolution with the KTM 390, the R3, the Ninja 400. So I was just kind of reading it like, oh, interesting, like something new in sport bikes. And I remember their article saying, if you wanted to get good at this and you wanted to race, you would be better off never riding on the street, getting one of these and learning the fundamentals of the sport on one of these. I was like, that's interesting. And that seed was planted. And this is probably true for a lot of us motorcycle racer types. Like we don't have the best impulse control.
No.
So the seed was planted. And I think I bought a Ninja 400 off a kid that had gotten one and wanted to ride, but his friends didn't buy one, so he just kind of riding by himself. So I got it for like a song and taught myself like how to ride in parking lots and like riding a little bit around the street. Within probably the first 30 days, I was already like bored. I live in Northeast Ohio in Cleveland, and there's just not a lot of like windy roads. So you got to go to say like the metro parks, and the speed limit's like 35. And you're like leaning the bike like this much at 35. And I'm like, well, I can't have fun. I'm 30, 45 days into this, and I cannot have fun unless I'm breaking the law. So maybe we'll try this whole track thing. So I look up Fasttrax, found Fasttrax.
How did you know? How did you know to look up Fasttrax?
I think I just Googled.
Like
just
tracks
Googled
near
it.
me or track days or something?
Yeah, like track days Cleveland or like track days Ohio, something like that. I can't even remember. And they had, they have that last day of the year, like in October. So it was that last weekend in October. And I was also like, wasn't 100% sure I wanted to go to the track or not. But did I want to ride street? I'm kind of just feeling the whole thing out. And the last day to get my motorcycle license was the exact same weekend as Fasttrax. And like no choice until basically, like May. So what do I do? And I remember kind of weighing the pros and cons. I think I put something up on like maybe the track days group on Reddit. Like, hey, what do I do? I'm new. Like I think about going to the track. I don't think I want to ride street, but if I did, the last day to get a license is the same day. What do I do? Everyone's like, bro, just go to the track. Once you go to the track, you're not going to ride on the street anyways. So it's like, okay. So yeah, my first track day, I rode the bike there. I had my girlfriend follow me. She lives maybe, I don't know, like 30 minutes or so. So the night before, like I'm prepping the bike, like taping up everything, taking the license plate off. And then, yeah, like 5 o'clock in the morning, we take off. Like I got no license plate on the bike. So I'm like, just follow me like close. So, like cops can't see. And in the trunk of her RAV4, she had a chair. So I had somewhere to sit when I wasn't riding. And yeah, that's how I rolled up on the first day. Just me, my street ninja, and a chair.
What year was this?
This was the end of 2022, October of 2022.
It's crazy. So, I'm curious because how you got hooked up with like Craig Schwanek.
Yeah, so I do the first track day, and when Mike's doing the whole spiel about like in novice group, like, hey, guys that are ready to go to intermediate, go over here, and guys that like are, what the fuck am I doing? Go over here. Like I had been riding for not even like 60 days. So I am all the way over there.
Yeah.
Like there was no hesitation. I'm like, can I go out further? I don't know what I'm doing. And yeah, we go out for that sighting lap, which, now I can do backwards pretty much the whole way. But at that time, it was like the scariest thing I'd ever done. I was like, this is nuts. And it's a sighting lap on the first day in the slowest section.
Yeah.
And somebody in our group like ate shit in the sighting lap, like high-sided himself. And then, yes, like later in the day, someone in my group like ran off in 12 and crashed. I remember somebody had a Ducati that day that got absolutely wadded. I mean, like a mangle of like mud and metal coming back on the crash truck. I'm like, dude, do you know like how expensive a Ducati is? And the guy just like wadded it. And I got two guys in my group like crashing. Like, what the fuck is this place, dude? This is nuts. Hear another guy just talk about like, oh yeah, I went down in mid Ohio, like turn 3, fucking 80 miles an hour. I'm like, what? And I was just hooked. Like I was just hooked, which sounds counterintuitive given everything I just said, but it was just wild. So that was the first track day. So when spring comes around, like riding to the track is not smart. Like you see that everywhere online. So I just put a message up on the Facebook page for Fasttrax. Hey, like introduce myself, like kind of where my girlfriend was, because it's like closer to the track. And can anyone like, do they even have any spare trailer space that I can hitch a ride? And then, much to Craig's chagrin, probably now, he said yes. And he ended up living maybe 2 minutes away, which is wild.
Yeah,
It's
that
like
is.
2 turns away. Um, and then yeah, I found out he was a coach, and I just latched on, and like Lana needed to know everything, like how to do this, and mind you, I don't have any like experience with motorcycles. Like I don't know how to do anything really than put gas in it. So like having to learn all the mechanical stuff, like I don't know how to, I didn't know how to tighten a chain or anything like that.
Oh man,
So
so you hit the jackpot then, because Craig is a wealth of knowledge, not just riding and stuff, but like dude works on all his own bikes,
mhm.
upkeeps them, modifies them, paints them, does everything. So yeah, like dang, that's man, you hit it right there, bud.
Yeah, yeah. And when I want to get like good at something, I just make friends with the people that are good. Like I'm not asking other random people like, "Hey, what do I do?" It's like, "What are the best doing?"
Yeah, the experts
And
or the coaches
yeah,
or whoever. Yep. Yep.
yep. And that's kind of the approach I've taken kind of throughout this whole journey. Um, to go from what I just said, uh, being the slowest guy in the slowest group, like in October of 2022. So essentially, like the 2023 season, to racing last year and this year. And I was building a racing resume to try to maybe like get some discounts on some stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like think of like look up my stats and like try to make a compelling narrative. And outside of that very first race where you have your provisional license, in that race I got fourth. But in every race ever since I've got a license, essentially, like a real license, I have podiumed every race
Yeah, we could
without fail.
see all the
19 for
trophies
Grand Prix.
behind you there, buddy.
Those are just the first place trophies.
Eh,
Uh, yeah, 19 out of 19. So it was, and I don't say that to brag. I say that to like anyone can learn this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
dude, I
and
didn't even know how to like use a clutch. 30 to 60 days, like 60 days, give or take, before I went to the track.
how well, first off, your first track day, what was your expectation like going into it? What you thought? I mean, you kind of said like, "Holy crap!" when you got there, but did you have any expectations or like prior ideas of what you think it might have been like? And then following that, like, how long before you got in? Like, how many novice days did you do before you got into intermediate?
Um, I don't think I had any preconceived notions. Um, One of the things I do, I've done like a lot of like kind of cool stuff, like scuba dived and skydived, and I rappelled off a 40-story building one time for like charity.
Jesus.
Uh, and I don't think I'm like an adrenaline junkie, but it's just one of those things like, hey, does this sound cool? Like, yes or no? And if the answer is yes, then it's like, all right, but like I'm scared.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, then fucking do it anyways. Like, just do it scared. So I think I thought like I probably applied that matrix to this situation, and I wanted to do a track day. I had no idea if I was going to belong or be able to even do it, but I wanted to do it. So I just signed up, and then I just don't think about it. And then the day comes, and you're like, oh shit, like it's here, but it's too late now. Like
Right.
it's already time to go. So I just thought I would do the best that I could. I mean, again, I was the slowest guy in the slowest group. So to your second point, I took this all like very seriously, like super seriously. Um, as I approach it as like a sport, and as a sport that has certain things you need to do, just like if you were trying to learn a golf swing or how to shoot a free throw, there are certain things that you need to do. So I was in novice. I was cool being in novice. Like I was very reluctant to move up in groups. Um, we see this sometimes as coaches. You'll have guys in your group that are like, maybe
For
you're
sure.
coaching group 5 out of 6. You're like, this dude could be in like probably group 2. And then you sometimes we're coaching group 1 or group 2, and you're like, when this guy lined himself up, he was completely unrealistic with his abilities.
Yep. See,
I was the
see that.
former. Like I was always like, I don't know. I mean, like if you think so, because I'm hard on myself too.
Yeah, I'm the
Uh,
same way, dude. Like, it's I try to be realistic, and then I end up, being unrealistic and the other way. You know what I mean? Instead of being like
Yeah.
too confident, I'm underconfident.
Yeah. Yeah. I went to Mid Ohio this summer for the first time, and there was a guy on a Ninja that was like faster than me, and I absolutely hated it. Like I hated every second of it, dude. I'm like, I'm used to being the fastest Ninja guy,
So
and he had been going to Mid Ohio for 10 plus years, and that was my first time. But like my mind does not like accept that. Like I
yeah,
understand it, but I'm like, yeah, dude, like you definitely could have come out of that corner like a little bit better. Like, come on.
yeah.
So it's the dual-edged sword of like getting good at something quickly. Is that I'm constantly just challenging myself and probably being a little too hard on myself at
So
times.
how long till was it till you got into intermediate then? Like,
Maybe like half a season or more.
nice, nice. What do you think
Yeah.
was the biggest thing? Like, because I always ask this kind of more later, but since we're talking about it and the aspect of you like being a novice, what do you think was like the hardest thing for you to overcome to get into intermediate? And at this, from your perspective, I guess, and then do you think that's also the main hurdle for most people, or is it something different? What do you see on average is kind of like the biggest hurdle for someone from novice to intermediate? Is it the same as what you went through? Is it different? What's your take on that?
Yeah. Um, I think if you'd have asked me at the time, I would have had like a bunch of different answers about, well, in turn 3, like, what do I do here? Or just the different things I was like, maybe I felt like I was struggling with. But I think with the benefit of hindsight, it was just seat time. Like I just needed experience. Um, and I think what held me back and what probably holds everybody back, right, is like fear. Like
Yeah,
I don't want to get hurt.
it's all mental. It is. Every
Yeah.
time I talk about this type of stuff, I mean, once you get the fundamentals down, it's all mental, right? I mean, fear-based
Mm-hmm.
stuff too, right? But like it's all mental. Even when you get past like a lot of the fear-based stuff, it's still all mental. Like it's just
Yeah.
yeah, it's the biggest hurdle for sure.
Because your brain is telling you like that can't happen. Like you can't do that. If you do that, like you will crash.
Even if you see somebody else do it, you still go, I don't understand it
Yeah.
until you do it,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I remember having some like pretty significant breakthroughs when I did my first race because the whole time it was like turn 1, we're gonna crash. Like, okay, we made it. Turn 2, oh, we made it. And then that just becomes the new bar.
Yeah, yeah.
But you got to go, like, you're just outside of your comfort zone and your brain's telling you, like, oh, you overcooked it, bro. Like, you're going down, or you can't get on the throttle that fast. And then it works. You're like, oh, okay. And then that's just the new normal.
Do you because I talk about this before, and I think most people have the same type of idea about this as well, or they've experienced the same thing. Like when you raced, how much easier was it for you to go faster? Like how much time did you knock off versus your track day time?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember.
And why? Why do you think that is?
Yeah. So that first full year, I was in novice for probably at least half of it. I got bumped into intermediate and I made the mistake of thinking that everyone else was taking this as seriously as I was. And I get into intermediate and I'm just like, oh, that was completely inappropriate. Or, like I thought everyone was just like better, like significantly better. But as coaches, we know that's not always like the case. We got guys that are in the front back of novice that are better than some of the intermediate riders. So I think I did track days that year. And then at the end, there was the last like we were around in like September. And I remember thinking, and I had never timed a lap, like nothing. And Craig followed me and he kind of gave me like a rough estimation of a lap time. So I took that and like went on Weira's website and looked up the race results. I was like, all right, I'll do this if I won't come in last. Like if I'm not going to be like dead last, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then I thought like, okay, I won't be last. So that's cool. And yeah, there's just something about the adrenaline and the competition. I don't know.
I always
Yeah,
say like
I
that.
like it.
It kind of shuts off some of that risk factor you're willing to take during a track day,
Mhm.
and it kind of
Yeah,
like dissipates out of your mind unknowingly, and then you just like go faster, easier because you got that carrot, and you're focused on like a different thing instead of like normal during a normal track day. You're focused on your lines and stuff, but it's always the back of your head of like, am I going too fast here? No matter what, you're all those things are
right.
still entering your head, but like when you race, it's a different situation. Like that's not there anymore. It's just like whatever I need to do to get in front of that guy is what I'm gonna do. And then like I don't know, the fear based stuff kind of goes away, and it's crazy because you end up doing like most. I would say on average, I would say if you start racing, you're going like a second faster than you usually are in a track day, and you go, holy crap, and you go, and I didn't feel like I was at my limit. Like it's just so
Right.
strange, and then that gives you like insane perspective for when you're at the like doing a track day. You're like, man, I do have, like I'm riding 70%. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mhm.
amazing how much like you have left on the table, and you just don't realize it until you really race. It's a crazy thing, and maybe some people are different, but like I would say, most people, 80% or more that I talk to, have that same kind of situation, that same feeling.
Yeah. And for me personally, like I'm not a speed junkie. Like I'm not a guy that needs to like go rip down a straightaway at 200 miles an hour to like feel a rush. Uh, for me, it's like I don't care about being fast. I just want to be faster than you. Like it's that competition thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So to relate it back to track days, what I think it is I think it's just vision and doing a little bit more than like it's that stepping outside of your comfort zone. So you're going into like the braking zone and there's someone in front of you and they're tipping into the apex. So you now like kind of understand, okay, they're here and the bike needs to go there and your eyes are like up accordingly. And you're like, I got to make up some time. I need to get closer. So I'm going to be a little bit lighter on the brakes to come in faster. And that's where, like, I was alluding to my first race where it's like, oh shit. And then you take it to the apex. You're like, oh, I fucking made it, dude. That's like the new brake marker.
yeah.
And then you see the guy coming out of the corner and you're like, I got to get on the gas. Like, I got to make up time. And now you're on the gas like a little sooner than you would be. And I think it's just the vision piece that it helps with because you have someone like just enough in front of you that it's getting your eyes up more than they maybe normally are, even if subconscious.
Yeah, that and also it's when it forces you to get out of that comfort zone in competition mode to like, where can I make the time up? So you have to like, you force yourself to like you said, brake later, get on the gas sooner, and then you realize your limit, where you thought the limit was, now moved.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is what I thought was where I was at was the limit. No, it's farther. And then you do it again, you're like, oh, it's even farther. Just yeah, and it's cool how it gives you that perspective of like really how much limit there is, because there's more to go than what you have now. It's just like pushing yourself to test those boundaries. Um, Racing's, to me, I think that's the only real way that you kind of expose that, because it's very hard to do during a normal track day to like put yourself to
Yeah.
do that.
And and I think it's important to note for anybody like listening that like it's not about like balls, I guess you could say. Um like is it like to our point before, like I don't want to get hurt. Like I'm not out here like riding like machismo. I'm taking it like a sport that has certain things that you need to do in like a certain order. And for the example of trying to catch somebody on the brakes and racing, like I know where my brake marker is. I just choose to ignore it because I'm trying to catch somebody. So I moved it up 5-10 feet, or instead of applying X amount of pressure, like I just did a little bit less pressure, and I can always like trail it in harder if I start going wide or something like that. So you just moved your brake marker up like a little bit. And I think one thing that's really helpful for me is at Nelson, the track I'm like intimately familiar with, like every corner has a report card for me. I know when I do that corner right, by the time I hit the curbing, I'm at full throttle. Or this is my brake marker. So let's say I try to move my brake marker in a little bit, and okay, I made the corner, like it felt fast as shit, but then I'm on the throttle, like past where I normally would be. So like that feels faster, yeah, because you're like almost out of control. And then acceleration rules, right?
Yeah.
So it's without a report card like that, I would have no idea. Like I would just think I was going faster because it felt faster.
Yeah. That makes sense. And I guess I was just thinking about another point on it where you're talking about following people and stuff. And when you see somebody that's on, because when you're racing, obviously they have to be on in your class and similar machinery. When you see somebody on similar machinery doing those things, that also tells you like, well, I should be capable, since it's similar machinery, to do the same thing. So that gives you a little more confidence as well to brake later or get on the gas or whatever. Because like if that guy's doing that lap, I can do that lap, right?
Yep. Yep. I remember there was a guy, an expert on a 400 that was running like in the 15s. And I was winning the novice category with like 17s. And I remember thinking like, bro, where am I going to find 2 seconds? Like it seems ridiculous. And he uploads his footage on YouTube. And so I watched it thinking I was going to find something kind of revolutionary. Like, oh, he does this in the carousel, whereas I'm doing that. No, we're doing the exact same thing. He's just on the throttle like this much more sooner than I am every turn. So it's half a second here, half a second there. Add up like 13 turns. Yeah, there's your 2 seconds.
Now, do you have a lap timer?
Yeah, I do. So what's crazy, the point I was trying to weave in here. So there was an endurance race. Did the endurance race this year?
Yeah, with Craig and those guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
My previous fastest lap ever was, I want to say like a 17 something. I ran a 15.3 in the endurance race
On your 400 or on
on the
Craig's bike?
400,
Okay, yeah.
on the 400 on lap 40.
That's crazy.
So it's like again, this goes back to kind of the psychology of everything. At first, I was like stoked. I was like, dude, I just completely bypassed the 16s, went right into the 15s and a low 15. Like, how sweet is that? And on lap 40, that's awesome. That high stayed a little bit, maybe 5 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, dude, why can't you do that right away?
Or
Like,
every lap,
your
right?
tires are gonna, yeah, your tires gonna be better. Like,
Yeah.
you're doing it on lap 40. You should be doing way faster. But I think what it was, to our point, I think I was catching someone and they were right at that perfect distance for my eyes. I have no way of knowing if that's true or not.
Did you look at
But
your
that's
data
my
like
theory.
from your laps and see like if you carried more corner speed in corners or like you probably don't have a DL and on the 400
No.
really wouldn't work anyways, but at least with the normal aim or whatever, you can at least see like like it'll show like green or yellow or red, like basically like are you accelerating, are you staying static, or are you slowing down, which will give you a good idea, but it'll also give you your mile an hour everywhere.
Yeah.
Did you like compare that 15 to your other laps?
Yeah. I mean, they were pretty consistent. But that one in particular was that much faster. I don't have a aim or anything like that. I have some eBay little cheapo
Yeah.
thing that I think the top review said this thing's more Chinese than Chairman Mao, but it works.
Dude, like because you're so clinical about what you do, you should definitely get an aim solo too or something, because like
Yeah.
that data would be so useful for you. Like I look at it, but I guess I don't use it as good as I should. But you're way
Yeah.
more
I kind
clinical
of
on this
was
stuff
like,
than
I always took the approach of, okay, if we got Valentina Rossi out here or Casey Stoner, or heck, even any Moto America guy on like my Ninja 400 in stock trim,
Rocco
probably on like
Landers did
on
108s on a
some
400.
Dunlops, yeah, they would freaking whoop the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So the problem is not my suspension or my tires or like all the stuff people are always like fiddling with. Like it's the rider. So I've always taken that approach. Like I haven't really touched my Ninja suspension. Like I bought it from a guy who like weighed roughly what I weighed, and then I just did that, just kept it, never touched it.
You're crazy
Uh,
because, like, I mean, once you get to a, this is my opinion. Like, I agree with you, and I had this conversation with Chris Bogert because he's the same way. He's like, he doesn't like changing things. Like, well, I just need to adapt and get better as a rider. But there comes a point when your skill set gets to a point
yep.
and you're out riding what's there, and to have the confidence underneath you, like that's huge with me. Like, if the bike doesn't feel right, I just won't go. You know, I can't go fast. So like, you know, I need that personally. But like, you know, if you had something and you tweak the suspension and it felt more stable, and maybe you don't even know it could be more stable, but once you get it to that point, well, I mean, then you can drop time because that just allows you to do all those different things, you know, accelerating, braking, etc., faster corner speed, you know, more efficiently, safer, better, more stable, and you're just going to go faster. But like, I agree with you up to a point on that, but
Yeah.
then, like, for sure, there needs to be a point. I mean, that's why you Moto America, even at Moto America level, whatever. I mean, they're changing suspension settings every practice setting until they get something dialed in. And then the next day, if something's off or they change tires, I mean, they're adjusting things. We're obviously not at that level, but those things do make geometry, suspension, they all make a huge difference on how the bike feels. And like, when the bike feels good and stable, you go faster, just inherently, right?
100%. Yeah. What I think I was trying to say was, we're all trying to get to like the limit. Um, Typically, like up to your point, like to a point. Because generally speaking, with a lot of modern motorcycles, like our limit is less than the bike's limit.
I would say
And
with
then,
almost all of it, but besides,
yeah,
you know, unless your weight factor, like if you're severely underweight for the bike
right.
suspension or over, it does create a really bad problem.
Absolutely. So it's like if you get it within a window. I mean, like this bike had the Ninja that I had purchased. It's Olin's front and back. Like the guy got it set up from like Bouchy Racing, and he weighed like 170 pounds, and I weigh roughly that. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
all right, so I'm like, I'm in the window.
yeah for sure.
So make sure your stuff's in the window, like the right springs for your weight. And then what we're trying to do, like once you get your abilities moving forward, now like all those guys used to like at the top levels, even in club racing, now you can expand the window because you've made a suspension change. Now the bike can do more, and you can do more with the bike to get further out on that limit.
Yeah, and I will also point
So I
out
think
this is like something that maybe people don't really know or understand so much because like I'm kind of a uh, I'm I enjoy and I find it very interesting suspension stuff, geometry, you know, dampening and all that stuff. And it's you know, let's say you get your bike set up for you and you let's say even as you're an advanced rider or whatever, but you get the bike set up and it's set up for you. And as you go faster, um, everything changes. Those settings don't work anymore because
right.
the faster you go, the harder you brake. So now you need more dampening, you know, rebound and compression dampening, and maybe yeah, the springs are for your weight, but now because you're braking so much harder, you need more support in the front end. So you might have to go up a spring rate, even though you know your weight. If you were just calling in to do something for weight and they send you, you need these springs, those may not work anymore because you're bottoming the fork out. I mean, very good for instances like I know Josh Heron would run like his rear spring is like insane weight for his weight. You know, he weighs like next to nothing, like maybe 160 pounds, but I think he's running like a spring for like a 200-pound rider because, you know, so hard acceleration, you need that support so it doesn't collapse underneath of them. Obviously, you know, they change dampening. I mean, that's very, very intricate stuff. But, you know, as you go faster, those what you thought were good settings end up start to be not so good anymore. So like it's always evolving as you get faster. Those things just like have to evolve with it. But
Mm-hmm.
let's rein back in here for a moment so I can ask a couple more questions. So you started on track days 22-ish, then started racing, and then what led you into coaching? how did you get into that role? And what year was that? What, 24?
It was like last year, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
around like June. Because I just
And
have a
also,
huge,
why did you want to do it?
yeah. So the why and the what. I mean, I'm super passionate about it, right? Like I
Obviously, we can
once
tell.
once it gets your hooks in you, I mean, it's just in. Like it's ridiculous. And to get like from where I was to where I am, I just spend so much time like learning, like digesting like any podcast content I can. Like Ken Hill, for example, he coaches a lot of the Moto America guys. He had a series on, I think it was like Apple iTunes that you could listen to. There's probably over 100 episodes. I listened to every single one in the off season. I like Yamaha Champion Riding School. They had like an online course that you could buy. Like I bought that and I watched it at the start of every season, like without fail, just to bring myself like up to speed. Um, so it what it really did was it just like demystifies a lot of the sport that we do because I think an outside perspective is like, oh, that guy's so fast because he's fucking crazy, man, or like he's got big balls, man.
I mean,
And
some of
it's
it
like
does take that. Let's be honest. There's
there. I mean,
what I say not balls so much is you're missing that part of the brain that is like survival. You know what I mean?
yeah, there definitely is. There's a degree of that, but I think you can approach that like safely. Like there might be someone that is loco and he is fast, but if you're risk averse, like myself, you can
Same
get there
here.
too. We're just gonna do it like in baby steps, and we're gonna do it like safely rather than just like fuck it, don't grab the brake, see what happens,
Yep.
and then like oh I made it. Like instead it's like no, I know I'm gonna make it because I'm just trailing like lighter longer, and if I start pulling, I can like squeeze it back in without adding too much lean angle and be okay. Um, so I just had all this kind of like knowledge in my head from listening to all this stuff. And I would just hear people in the paddock like explaining maybe what they were struggling with and being able to kind of articulate how to remedy that. And again, kind of like demystify it and just explain it as like a sport. Like something, and with work, like I'm in business development, so I kind of talk for a living. My brother is a teacher. If teaching paid more money, I'd probably be a teacher. I just like seeing others succeed because I know what it's like to be there. And I remember thinking, I've played hockey my whole life since I was probably like 7, 8 years old, and thinking, you know what, I could teach motorcycles better than I could teach hockey because I've been doing hockey for so long that there's so many things that are I just take for granted. Like I just know it and it's just in my subconscious. Whereas with motorcycling, like I was the newest new guy. Like I didn't know fucking anything. So I know what it's like to be you. Like I know what it feels like and what your fears are and the things that you're struggling with because I struggle with them too. And here are some of the things that worked for me and maybe they'll work for you. And to be able to kind of break it down and make it accessible and make it understandable. Um, I like to use a lot of analogies. So I remember seeing a video one time talking about the importance of vision when doing this. And they showed a guy going around a track. I think it was over in England somewhere. And it was like for, maybe like a chin mount GoPro. So you're kind of seeing what they see. And they covered the top half of the screen, just made it black. So you can only see kind of like from the windshield down. Dude, it looked like he was in warp speed. It's like, there's no fucking way I could do that. You just see like the curbs like blurring and left, right. And it's like, holy shit. And then they did the same thing, except they blurred out the bottom and you could just see the top. And now you can see the upcoming turn. You can see the apex and it's just like, and it looks very easy.
That's interesting.
So
Yeah.
the more we like get our eyes up, like the eyes are kind of like, our brain's like the computer and our eyes are like what's giving the computer data. So the more data we can give the computer, like the more it can compute. So if we have our eyes down, like the data is coming so fast, the brain can't compute that. But if we get them up and we start looking through the turns and getting our heads up, then life slows down because the brain can process that data and give you kind of like a course of action to do that. And I remember, I mean, I almost wrecked like in the kink when I started getting fast, because where my eyes were no longer worked for me. Like that worked when I was slow, but now like that's coming at me like so fast. It's like, oh, and you start panicking. And that was probably when I was going 8 to 10 seconds slower than what I'm going now.
Yeah.
And it's all about like where you look. So like in the kink, for example, and you're coming through, there's like a cone on the other side in the grass. And people have a tendency to look at that, myself included. And when you go through that kink, that freaking cone comes at you so fast and it's like scary. So what I learned and what I try to tell guys is like when you're going through that kink like that, like don't look at that cone. It'll be in your peripheral. Start looking at 12 immediately. As soon as you like tip in, eyes at 12, and you'll see that grass come in like this, and then it'll go out like this, and you're fine. But if you look over there, it's terrifying. And yeah, somebody was like, bro, that was the greatest advice. Like, I was like, yeah, I had to learn that because I almost fucking crashed staring at that cone.
So how did you? What were the circumstances that you got brought on at Fasttrax?
I just asked Mike, like, hey, I'm really like enjoying this. I'm pretty good, winning races, and kind of just what I told you. Like, I think I could coach this pretty well. Um, Anything that has to do with the sport, like I can articulate maybe what you're struggling with and the remedy of it in like simple terms, easy to understand. And yeah, since I've been doing it, I love it. It's super rewarding. Um, there's nothing better than when the people in your group are asking like a ton of questions because they want to get better.
Yeah.
And they're just super into it. Like that's what I love as a coach. Like the more participation, the better.
Oh, I'm right there with you, man. It's very rewarding. And kind of on that topic, is there has there been a certain instance, you know, since you've been coaching that sticks in your mind, like a particular, could be a person or particular time you did, was showing somebody something or whatever it is, but was there a particular instance that just always sticks in your brain now that was been like a highlight for you?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch. This one's probably my favorite if I had to pick one. I was coaching novice and I had a girl in my group. And it's always nice to see women in the sport. It's always nice to see like people of color, anything other than like white dudes between the ages of like 28 and like 45. Because that's just like all of us. So diversity is always great. So yeah, there's a girl in my group and we go out the first session. And I mean, this was something I did and it's something a lot of people do. When you're like nervous, you want to go up, I'll just go last. Like, I don't want to hold anybody up.
Yeah.
And as coaches, we do the best we can to like keep the group together, but sometimes it does like get spread out or you have like a straggler. And she ended up kind of being a straggler. And we come in and we're kind of doing the debrief and people are asking questions and everyone's kind of having fun, but I know she's like a little bit quiet. And I kind of look over at her and it looked like she was like about to cry. So I kind of sent the other guys away and kind of talked to her like one of them, like, hey, what's up? Like, what happened? And she had almost gone off in 13. And so she was super spooked. She's like, this might not be for me. She's about to kind of call it a day. And I articulated like, you're doing this harder than anybody because you got separated from the group. It's the first session of the day. Everyone's following me and just kind of doing exactly what I do, like in a line. Whereas you're on your own. Like you're doing what we're going to do like a couple hours from now in the first session of the day at your first track day.
Yeah.
And try to talk her down like, no, it's not because you suck. Like it has nothing to do with that. So I put her behind me the next time and she was phenomenal. I mean, like her pace was so much better than it was the first session. She felt way more comfortable. And yeah, she ended up having like a great day and came up to me at the end of the day and thanked me for kind of keeping her in it, I guess. That was, I think it was either last year or the beginning of this year. But at the end of the last track day, I think it was, I got to get her a bump into intermediate.
That's
and
awesome.
It's like, bro, this girl could have like, if I didn't handle that properly, like she could have just quit.
Right. Yeah.
But it kind of was like, it kind of reminded me of the impact that we have as coaches, and to like not take some of these things for granted, even though we're doing it like every weekend and we see a bunch of different people. Um, that yeah, if I was in a bad mood, or like I didn't take the time to kind of one on one, like, hey, what's up, and she could express that, and we could handle it, then like she might have been done. She might not ever do this sport, and instead she's like all in, coming to track days, getting bumped to intermediate, and it's just super rewarding to see that.
And on this topic, kind of, it's a good lead into my next question, which is, you know, you obviously you rode with Mid Ohio and stuff, but I don't know if other places you've ridden, but you've raced different places, and probably done a track day before racing, 'cause, if it's a new track or whatever. But like, what what do you think is that, like, our organization Fasttrax does that we excel in, that kind of puts us above everybody else? That's not slandering other groups or anything, but like, what is it that we exceed in so well that we do, as an organization, you think?
Yeah, I think it's, you could say it's like the coaches and the novice groups that we put on, and the attention to detail that we have. And I mean, you could give like a bunch of examples of things that we do, but I think ultimately what the difference is not something tangible. I think it has to go with like Mike selecting good coaches, and all of us like really care. Like it comes down to like giving a shit.
You're right. Yep.
I mean, if you look at like what makes a business successful, like why is this business successful and that business isn't successful? A lot of it comes down to like caring. Like, do you care enough? And we're all crazy passionate about this, and we want to see people succeed. The rush and the high from doing this is like unlike anything else, but it comes with like risks. And if it was as easy as walking down the sidewalk, like it wouldn't be as fun. So what we're trying to do is maximize the benefits while mitigating the downsides, and getting people like involved in this sport and into it. And just the overall vibe here is like amazing. I can say for me personally, if it wasn't for people like Craig, if it wasn't for people that day I brought my chair, and only that invited me like into their canopy and to like hang out and get to know me, that I don't know if I would be here, because it is like scary and it is intimidating when you first show up. I was telling somebody that I was coaching that they were kind of struggling a little bit, and similar thing, like they didn't know if they belonged here. I'm like, dude, I don't think it took until I won a championship last year, and then was probably going to win a championship this year, that when I drove in, like I felt like I belonged here. Like you see all the trucks and the toy haulers and the bikes and the noise, and you're like, oh man, like these guys are all fucking good.
Yeah, I
And then it
like.
wasn't until like all that I was like, wait, I'm like I belong here.
It's kind
But
of
everyone's
fun.
just so welcoming.
It's kind of funny you say that, because like, I always remember when I first start doing them, doing track days and stuff. You don't know, like, even the simplest, weirdest type things of like, I remember just sitting in riders meetings and like looking around as we're listening to the riders meeting, and people, like, before it broke into like novice only gets their little separate thing, but like, you're around with the advanced guys and intermediate people, whatever, have done this so many times. You look around and it's like they have their undersuits, and the socks pulled up, and like there's this. It was almost like a style, but it's a style because it was like necessity. It made it comfortable, and then people on like scooters or whatever. It's like that whole, like, I don't even know what it is, like that that particular like culture, that I was like, man, this is like weird. And now, without trying, you're like, you're in that culture, and it's like the things I used to look around and be like, man, why are they doing that or that? Now that's what I'm doing, and it's like not a thing anymore, but it's crazy. And it's the same thing. It's like, when I started, like, do I belong or whatever? But yeah, you're right. It's crazy, and it takes a little while to start, feeling like you're part of it. But I think Fast Track just excels at making that becoming a part of that community quick. It's more adaptable and more accessible than other organizations I've ridden with.
Yeah. Yeah. I like anybody that's ridden at Nelson Ledges long enough. Like I went off in turn 4, like my first crash. Had my first like false neutral, and I didn't know like what that was. Again, probably because I hadn't been riding that long. So I like remember looking down, being like, "What the fuck is this noise?" And then my thing is like in between gears, and I like shift the gear up, and I look up, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, I should have tipped in about 20 feet ago." So I thought I could just go ride in the grass. Yeah, you can't really do that at Nelson. I think I made it about 5 feet. And I was even trying to do the whole rear brake thing like we teach, in the novice meeting, and just over the top. Anyways, I think it was like the last session of the day. I remember coming in and you giving me shit. Like, whoa, one more session, because you were like packing up for the day.
Yeah.
In like a friendly way.
Yeah.
And it was just like a light-hearted joke. And when I was like devastated, I'd never crashed before. The bike comes back on the trash truck, like the fairings are all jacked up. Like this bike was in mint condition when I got it, and then now it looks destroyed. So I'm thinking like this thing is done, like in my mind, because I had no experience in any of this. And I remember like Craig and Tim Kiggins and a lot of the other coaches like come over and like everyone starts helping me.
Yeah.
I'm like I don't know how to do any of this, dude. Like I bought a bike ready to go and I just ride.
Yeah.
I'm like a factory rider. Like, I don't know. I just get on a ride, dude. I don't know what's going on.
Craig Schwannick factory.
Yeah. So everyone just helped me. And it's that like warm, inviting atmosphere that I think is super cool. And I don't know what it is, dude. I was like thinking about this. It's like we're all kind of like fucked up in some way, like in the head.
Yeah.
That we just have like a bond with each other that I don't find in other things. Like I don't have this bond with like hockey players, even though I played that my whole life. Like I played tennis. Like I don't find that with tennis players. We've got all types of people.
Yeah, I've said this before because, like, I mean, you have a little one series or whatever BMW, right?
Yeah, 235, yeah.
Yeah, or whatever it is, and like before bikes or at the same time, and some of it, I've always been into cars and stuff. I've had like twin turbo Mustangs and this and that. I've always been a Mustang guy and always been to cars, modifying them, doing stuff, and went to the drag strip and done this and that, and been part of these car communities and stuff. I was never really big into sports. I mean, I played some football a little bit in high school, but outside of that, I just I never really got into it. Just always been a gearhead, and like, yeah, the car community thing is like, it's not the same. Nobody wants to help you. Nobody wants to give you any tips. It's all like, I'm better than you and blah, 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 whatever. But like, there's something about track community that is like dirt bikes, I don't know if it's different or not. I've heard it can be kind of the same as what I was explaining about the cars, riding motocross or whatever. But yeah, like road racing stuff, it seems to be like just a very standout niche area that's like super heavy community driven. Like you do have those couple people here and there, but like overall 90% of, I mean, it's like just so helpful. And I talked to, I don't know how many people about this during interviews, but like, and you've probably experienced this, even when you're racing in Wira and you race against somebody and you had a decent battle or whatever, and you go up to them and you're like, yeah, man, da-da-da-da. And either if you won, you can be like, yeah, I passed you here and here's why, Nelson very good. And you'll tell them a reason and you'll fix something for them that they had wrong. And then they could literally just go out, and maybe they did go out the next race and beat you. And it's like, you're not mad. I mean, yeah, you get a little like, I wish I would have won, but like, you're still happy for them. And then after you get done with the race, you're like, dude, yep, see, you fixed it right there. And then I couldn't pass you, whatever. Or they'll give you a tip. And it's just like, where do you see that? You just don't. You just don't see that anywhere else.
Yeah, the first time I was racing up in Grattan, I went to the track day, I think the day before. Or maybe it was the second time. It doesn't matter. But yeah, the vibe was like totally different. Everyone's just kind of like doing their own thing. And I wanted to obviously learn the track, so I grabbed a coach. She was a gal that was coaching out there. Was like, "Hey, do you mind giving me a tow? Like, I'm like kind of struggling here." So she gives me a tow. It got like faster, and then we raced the next day, and I beat her by 17 seconds. She's like, "I'm never fucking giving you a tip again." Well, like she knew I was racing. Like I
Right.
told her, and she still helped me. And then yeah, I was battling in my first championship with this kid who was like 17, 18 years old. So there absolutely is a degree of like the fear thing
Oh, yeah.
because
Yeah.
like he doesn't like I have to work tomorrow.
Yep.
Like I have to like pay my medical bills if I get hurt,
Yep.
which is like awful. Um and yeah, there were times I would like try to give him like some tips. And like we got into like a breaking duel one time and I sucked him into the corner and he went wide. I was like, dude, I knew all along because you're 17 years old that you were not going to let me outbreak you. But I knew all along I was absolutely going to hit the brakes and suck you in and then cut in. And yeah, just like I mean, even look at most recently, like I think I saw something where like Mark Marquez was like giving Nicolo Bulaga tips.
Yep.
I mean, that's at the highest level of the sport.
Yep.
I've seen stuff on like the Moto America, that Superbike Unlimited thing that they were doing.
Yep.
And yeah, like Skoltz was there, like giving Ben Smith like tips, I think at New Jersey or something like that. So yeah, it's just different. And when I play hockey and I lose, like I'm mad. It's like, okay, like you didn't beat me, like I lost. I lost it. Like if I didn't mess up, like you wouldn't have won. Whereas with racing, like I'm not like happy I lost, but when you have someone that beat you that's faster, it's like, bro, I don't know how you're doing that, but I'm like impressed. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
And
You
it's,
beat the shit out of me.
the
Ow.
best races too, like if you win by, 11 seconds, whatever, like, okay, you won. But it's so much more fun to win by,
Yeah.
half a bike in that battle. Like it just, and then afterwards, you turn around, or even if you got second and you're shaking hands as you're going around the track, giving a high five, whatever, because like that's what it's about. Like that was, that's what's fun about it, is having that battle and like, kind of getting your limits pushed like we talked about earlier. And it just, yeah, and it's cool. Every time I have a battle like that, every time we get off the track, either I'm running up to that guy or that guy's coming over to me or whatever, and we're
Mhm.
BSing about it, and it's just
Oh yeah.
it's super fun, man, having those conversations. And it's like win or lose in that situation, you still have like next thing you know, you formed a bond with this person, that maybe you never met before, and it's
Yeah.
just super interesting.
Yeah. You have like total strangers that you've never met before. And next thing you know, you're talking for like an hour,
Mm-hmm.
just recapping the race. Like, hey, what do you do here in this turn? And then, yeah, you're going to like race them the next day.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think that extends to like what we do as coaches,
Yep.
but it's just the knowledge sharing, right? Like we're just in a position to do that as coaches because we've gotten to the point where we're pretty decent at this. But amongst other racers, like if someone's more decent than you, like I want to know how you're doing it, and
Yeah.
they'll generally share that,
Yeah. It's
and
it's awesome.
it's just cool. It's cool, yeah. And I think, what was I just gonna say? I can't remember, but it's just super open and everyone's so friendly and they'll help you fix your stuff. Oh, this is what I think it is. Here's what I think underpins all of this. There's such a level of like respect and implied trust when we're out there, be it a track day, be it a race, it really doesn't matter. When we're going in excess of 100 some miles an hour, maybe tipping into turn one at 80, 90 miles an hour, and we're this close to each other. Like I have to trust that you know what you're doing, and you have to trust that you know what I'm doing, and then together, we can have those good battles like safely and effectively. And what we really try to like hammer into, especially like the novice group, is that predictability,
Yep.
because that's how we can have like trust in you. It doesn't. I mean, you have to have some pace to be in intermediate, but it's realistically like you have to be consistent.
Yep. And
And
predictable. Consistency and predictability. Yep.
yeah, I remember hearing somebody say, like, you can't go fast with bad lines, and that's always kind of stuck with me. Um,
You
So
can't,
yeah,
but I always say too, like, I would rather see somebody offline a foot and hit it every time, and then we can eventually fix
right,
that. But
right,
at
right, right.
least knowing that they're consistently doing the exact same thing every time, instead of like, okay, they were on the race line this time, but next time they weren't on that line. That's not predictable. I'd
Yep.
rather be a foot off and then just be consistent, and then we can fix that down the road. But the consistency is, and predictability, you're going to be at that mark every time.
Yeah, I mentioned how I took novice like very seriously, and I thought intermediate was like just this giant like chasm to the next level. So I'm in intermediate on my Ninja 400, going around a ZX10 in the carousel on the outside.
Yeah.
He's got a big bike and it wasn't very effective at riding it. And it spooked him, and he stood the bike up and slammed right into me. And then we both went off.
Oh,
At
jeez.
somebody had it on GoPro. I think we were doing like 85, 90 miles an hour. Off into the carousel. There's like a huge dip there because it's like banked.
Yeah.
So like I just go flying across. Shot off the bike, hit the ground. The first thing I thought of when I hit the ground was, man, this doesn't feel good, but I've been hit harder in hockey. So like we're all right. And then you tumble and like same thing. And I thought the same thought, like, hockey's still worse so far. But yeah, it was just like it was just a little bit of inconsistency. Now I see guys in intermediate maybe passing someone on the outside, and hey, if you're comfortable with that, go for it. Here was my experience doing that, and now I don't pass people on the outside of the carousel at track day.
Yeah. Yep, I get
It's just
that.
a little bit of risk, and yeah, it's that predictability.
Right on, man. I think I covered most questions I wanted to cover. Is there anything you wanted to cover before we wrap up? Like anything that you feel was important to talk about before we close this out?
Yeah, I just can't recommend enough getting maybe like the online course for Yamaha Champ Riding School. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but it just starts to make a lot of sense, and it takes kind of some abstract concepts and makes them more concrete, and then you can start to kind of dial in the application of those.
Would you say, before you go on there, sorry to interrupt you, but like, would you say like you need some kind of basic structure before, like, for it to make sense? So like going and doing a novice day, like, yeah, you could read it, but maybe you're not going to really understand the information because, like, when we do it, if you go and do a novice day with us, you get to visually see, feel the way that we put people on, or we get on the bike during that novice session. We show body position. We put people on the bike. We explain things very in detail in front of them. And to me, I feel like that would make reading material make a little bit more sense. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Or?
I had gotten that Yamaha thing like as soon as I got that bike, because I'm also trying to figure out how to like ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it was this or the Ken Hill stuff, but essentially saying there's like an order to this sport, and there's just these fundamentals, and what separates the novice from Mark Marquez is his ability.
Hold, let me. My compressor kicked on. Let me turn that off.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what no editing will do for you. Sorry, I should have shut that off earlier. Go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, the sport kind of comes down to like braking and acceleration, right, and turning, and what the elites do versus what a novice guy does. Like we're doing the same applications to the bike to make it do what we want to do. They're just able to do it so finely. We're trying to get it within, like 5 to 10%, correct. Like within a 5 to 10% like margin of being correct. Like those dudes are like the 0.0005.
Yeah.
We're like just a little, like a hair on the throttle later than the other guy, like a foot, at a 250 mile per hour MotoGP bike multiplied by however many thousands of feet on a straightaway. Like that could be like a second gap by the end of that straightaway.
Yep.
So it's just so fine, like how they do the brakes. And, one thing that that I learned like through this stuff, and you see it at the track, is just the importance of kind of communicating with the motorcycle, like what you want it to do. We talk about like being smooth, like smooth is fast, fast is smooth. But like, what does that kind of mean? It's like, well, it's how we apply the controls. So I remember hearing somewhere like the first 5% and the last 5% of your application are like the most important. It's like when you crack on that throttle, are you doing it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 600 in it, and then you go, or is it on? Right? Like think about kind of like a light switch, like treating it like a dimmer switch rather than just like a flick on and off. So if you're stabbing the brakes or whacking the throttle, like yeah, the sport's going to be like pretty scary.
Yeah.
But if you're just that first 5, that last 5 as you let off the brake, they kind of like, I tell my guys when I'm coaching, like we're communicating with the motorcycle, like, hey, I'm getting on the throttle, like, hey, first 5%, like, you good? Tire's like, yeah, I'm good. All right, and then you can go.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about controlling weight transfer. I mean,
exactly.
and the slower you do it, the easier. It's like walking back and forth in a boat or something. You know what I mean? Like you go towards the front and the front tips down. You go towards the back, the front comes up. And if you run, that thing's going to be kind of out of control. But if you do it slowly, it's more settled and controlled. And that's what Todd Miller said, which is I like the way he put this, is like, think about like you're riding on ice. You know what I mean? Like you gas it, it spins quick and whatever, but like the slower you do it, the more traction, the smoother you do it, should I say, the more traction you're going to have to like actually get going. Or when you're slowing on ice, you're not going to stab the brakes, just locks it up, whatever. It's more like progressively doing it. And, it just, I thought that was a good way to look at it too.
This is something I think we should maybe look into like next year. I saw it in like a Yamaha video. They took like a motorcycle tire.
Yep.
Just empty. And then
the points of grip
straight up
thing.
And down, yeah, you can like just push on it, right? And then he kind of leans it over, and then he starts just going like this,
and
then it kicks out, right? Yep. And then he just goes and like puts his weight on, and then just increases and increases and increases, and now the thing's like at a 45-degree angle. He's got his whole entire body weight on it.
Yep.
But before, like this kicked it out, so it's like that's like abrupt. It's like an abrupt application of any of the controls
because you're unloading and loading, and yeah.
Yeah, and they were putting it on different surfaces. Like, hey, here's how much it'll take on dry pavement. Like, here's how much it takes on wet pavement. Obviously, it kicks out faster. Here's what it is on gravel. But yeah, I think, and I tried it. Like, it doesn't seem like it would work. I did it on like a slippery concrete garage floor. Took a tire and like leaned on it like that, and you think like, oh, this thing's gonna kick out, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Kind of like racing or being on the track, right? You're like, oh, I don't think it's gonna take it, and it does.
Right on, man. Anything else before we wrap up, dude? Or are you we good?
I think we're good.
Cool, man. I appreciate taking the time. It took us a while to get linked up and stuff with your work and whatnot, and same here. But very appreciative that you could take the time out to do that. I think covered quite extensively, a lot of information and stuff, and appreciate that. I think people come away from this having some more knowledge and a little bit more insight, not just yourself, but some of the things we talked about, tips and whatnot. So yeah, dude, I appreciate it, and can't thank you enough. And anybody that's looking to get some help, man, hit up Deeter. He'll be on the new bike next year. Well, probably on the 400 too, but just you see this hairy-chested guy walking around the paddock, grab him up. He'll help you.
Everyone gives me shit about taking my shirt off, and the
I just think something to poke fun at,
Everybody else wants to take their shirt off.
That's right.
Like, oh, I don't know.
But you know what? It's distinctive. So if I'm looking for you, I know exactly where to find you. That's the main point.
Yeah. They just give me shit. Okay.
But hey, man, thanks for this. We'll wrap up here. Thanks everybody for watching. So we'll take off and say goodbye.
Can we get a goodbye in Trump style, please?
No. Maybe another time. That's a after the track day shenanigans.
I'm part of that community. If you
Yeah.
didn't know, he does an excellent Trump impersonation. It has nothing to do with political affiliation. It's just accurate and hilarious.
Well, I don't think it's that good, but makes people laugh, so
It
I
makes
like to
people
do
laugh.
it. Yeah.
There you
All
go.
right, man. Thanks a
All
lot.
right.
All right. Bye, everybody.